The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read. Your source for news, politics, sports, and all things trending. Here's your host, Marcus Gentry.
Welcome to the Daily Read, and I am your host, Marcus Gentry. Today we got some good news on the show. We've just been accepted to iHeartRadio, people. So now, for all of my truck drivers out there who don't watch videos, but you have a certain podcast platform that you listen to, you can now catch me on iHeartRadio now. Now, Sirius XM, I'm trying to get them next, because there's a lot of people out there who prescribe to Sirius XM, and that's one of the platforms I've been wanting to get on for a long time also. Today is going to be a good show. Good news aside, because we got to talk about some things. How the government is playing games with people's lives. And as I've always told you before, this government of ours has been basically taken over by the great-great-grandsons and great-great-granddaughters of the Confederacy. These people feel like this country is theirs. No one else has a claim to it. No matter how hard you worked here all your life, and your grandparents and your great-grandparents were slaves here, they feel like this is dedicated to them. And over the decades that have passed and gone by, slowly they have been indoctrinated into thinking a certain way. And today I'm going to demonstrate for you just how deep this indoctrination is by some of these white people in this country. The indoctrination is so deep to the point where even some black folks in our communities have fell in line with them. And I'm going to walk you through these steps. I'm going to show it to you. Because I've talked about it on two of my previous shows, how this indoctrination of the Caucasian side of America is almost complete. But the coronavirus, it dropped a bomb on these people's plans. You know, I have a feeling, like me and a partner of mine was talking about the other day, that Donald Trump probably would have got reelected again if it wasn't for this coronavirus. But now people are scared and they need real leadership. Bigotry is going to have to take a step aside right now, because people's lives are on the line. Now, that doesn't mean that since their plans have gone off the rails of total white supremacy domination, that doesn't mean that they're not going to go ahead and push other agendas like genocide. Now, this is a tricky subject, people, because some of y'all gonna think that I'm talking about conspiracy theories. But as I've always told you, the Confederacy never had the head of the snake cut off. Think about that. I love history. Everything I'm talking about, you can look this up yourself. When we won the Civil War, the North won the Civil War, we incarcerated hundreds of Confederate soldiers, mostly the people who led the Confederacy Army. We interrogated them, locked them up, and instead of executing these people like we do when we go into any other country, people, we cut the head off the snake. Period. Look at Saddam Hussein. Look at Gaddafi. When we go into a country and fight a war, we might beat up on the people, the population, but we immediately try to find the leaders and take them out. That never happened in the Confederacy. We captured the leaders. They gave up, but we never took them out. Okay, y'all got to get this understood, because we keep ignoring this history. And it seems like I'm a man standing alone trying to get you to see and understand. Even some of you white people who not with this, y'all need to understand this. We sent these people back home with a promise and a signature saying that they would never go back into politics and they would never take up arms against the United States again. That's it. They didn't get executed. They didn't get 20 or 30 years in prison. These people went back home to the South as heroes. Okay? Y'all got to get this understood. That's why you got these statues. When you drive around southern cities, you see these statues of Confederacy people, generals, and colonels. Y'all lost. How the hell you get statues built in your honor? They didn't take up arms against the United States again, but they weren't neutered. These people still had kids. They still had grandkids. This stuff has been indoctrinated in these people. And it done spread all over America. Y'all got to get this understood. These people have an agenda. And the agenda done bubbled up to the surface to the point where we got Donald Trump now. It's complete. What they thought it was until this coronavirus happened. Now, this is the key. This is the key. When the coronavirus hit and everybody was going to get sick and die from it, it was a big rush to shut everything down. About a week and a half after the whole coronavirus blew up in New York and California, when they found out, when the doctors got on the TV and the mayor of Chicago got on the TV and said they were shocked at the lives of black people who were dying behind the coronavirus compared to white. That's not saying whites are immune. What it's saying is minorities have certain conditions like heart disease, hypertension, diabetes. We have more of those diseases in our communities because of poverty. Because there's not a balance in the wealth in this country. So it leads people who live in the projects and ghettos of America to have a higher rate of diabetes and other diseases that can affect your body. So what the coronavirus does is it attacks that. That's why you see a higher rate of black people dying from coronavirus. Once these people figure that out, it was a push to reopen everything. Now all of a sudden, our economy is not worth a few lives. Y'all got to see this coming. I'm finna get into the mayor of Las Vegas. This woman is a nutcase. This woman is crazy. I hope my truck drivers out there listening to me, because I know y'all done rolled through Nevada. Y'all done rolled through Las Vegas, and y'all done seen the lights. Y'all done seen the lights. Like I seen the lights. Fascinating city. But how in the world can these people vote for a woman like this? This is crazy. I'm gonna take y'all through this slowly. I'm finna take y'all through this slowly because I want y'all to see how this mad woman, she did an interview with Anderson Cooper. First she tried to deny, then she tried to lie, then she went through all the stages until Anderson Cooper finally got her to say something she probably wished she would have never said. He finally got this woman to admit that she tried to offer Las Vegas up as an experiment for the coronavirus because she don't believe it's real. people like her, they got this agenda stuck in their mind that this is about white power, white privilege, whites taking over and tamping everything else down. She don't believe it. She don't believe what they say, shit stink. Anderson Cooper's trying to talk to this woman. I'm finna play this first clip because I want y'all to hear this. I want, for my podcast listeners, y'all gotta listen to this. But for my viewers who watch me on YouTube, I want y'all to see, just look at this woman's face.
Losses people are suffering, which is awful. But you're encouraging, I mean, hundreds of thousands of people coming there in casinos, smoking, drinking, touching slot machines, breathing circulated air, and then returning home to states around America and countries around the world. Doesn't that sound like a virus petri dish? I mean, how is that safe?
What it sounds like? You're being an alarmist.
Now, look at that woman's face. Just look at this woman's face. She is actually the mayor of Las Vegas, people. She has the responsibility of all of these people's lives in the palm of her hands. And she's wacky. Who votes for these people? That should scare you by itself. Whoever voting for these people, putting them in office, that should scare you. 40% of our population voted for Donald Trump. 40%. That should scare the living daylights out of you. That means the people you work next to, that smile in your face every day, they secret supremacists, white supremacists. They enjoy this. You know, you might go to a bar. The person serving your drink behind the bar, slick supremacist. He's smiling at you. Hey, bud, what you need? What you need tonight? You know, it could be your neighbor with that Confederate flag hanging up in his house, but he got an American flag outside. He got a Confederate flag in the house, hanging up on the wall. You don't know. 40% of Americans voted for this clown, this racist, bigot clown. I'm going to continue on. I want y'all to see the type of people that is running this country, and a lot of people is finna die.
If you can't figure out how to do this safely, why, as mayor of a city that you were responsible for the people's safety, are you calling for something that you have no plan for how it would be done safely?
Did y'all see this woman's face? She has a grin on her face that's maddening. I've never seen nothing like that. Anderson Cooper is looking at this woman like, is she serious? 50,000 people have died in this country in the last month. 50,000. The flu kills about 60,000 people a year in 12 months. Understand this, people. The flu kills about 50 to 52,000 people a year. 12 months. This thing has killed 50,000 people in 1 month. That's scary. And you got people right here in Tennessee still walking in and out of the store with no mask on, and they got the nerve to look at you like you doing something wrong. This is what happens when liars run this country. This is what happens. Now, Anderson Cooper, he did a good job. This interview right here is going to go down. This interview right here is going to go down in history as one of the greatest interviews of all time, right up there with R. Kelly. That was a crazy interview. This interview right here with this crazy woman, that's the mayor of Las Vegas, this is going to go down in history as one of the greatest interviews of all time. This is like gold. Anderson Cooper sitting there looking like, what the heck? He couldn't believe this. This woman talking like this. And then the grin she got on her face. Look at.
I am not a private owner. That's the competition in this country.
You said in another interview, you said, quote, let the businesses open. Competition will destroy that business if, in fact, they become evident they have a disease, they're closed down.
Oh, yeah.
It's that
Oh, yeah.
simple.
Yes.
Do you stand by that? Because it would take weeks, as I think you probably know, before anyone realized a place was a epicenter of viral infection. I mean, that it would take weeks for that would actually to show up. You're comfortable with that?
You're a very good interviewer. I've watched you for years, and you're wonderful.
I think this woman's on cocaine or something. I'm sorry, people. I think this woman is on some drugs. She's the mayor of Las Vegas, one of America's biggest cities. I think it's like 10 or something like that. And she looks like she's on drugs. Or she could just be one of them old dizzy bras, dizzy ladies, whatever you want to call it. You know, you got some dumb blondes out there. I want to thank all my people for joining me on live. For my people that's on podcast, you can catch me on Mondays. This show will be uploaded on Mondays. So for my podcast listen, I'm a live feed of my YouTubers. My show comes on Sundays. So for all you listeners out there who don't like to watch the videos, you're just gonna have to catch me on Mondays. I'm gonna come back with this commercial break, and when we get back, we're gonna dive deep into this mayor and how she tried to offer up her city for a coronavirus experiment for the government. But what they did was they wound up using Atlanta. You see, there's an agenda, people, and we're gonna talk about that when we get back.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
All right, people, welcome back to the Daily Read. I'm gonna go back over what we was talking about on the first segment about this wacky, crazy lady that's the mayor of Las Vegas. And Anderson Cooper is trying his best to explain to this woman that if you open back up the society and go back to normal life, it's going to kill a lot of people. She's telling him that the scientists were wrong, that a lot of people didn't die from this like they said it was. And he's still trying to explain to this woman that the reason why people didn't die in masses is because we shut everything down. See, this is the problem that we have with so many people lying in our government. Because now they trying to continue on with the lies. This coronavirus basically it's lie proof. It's bulletproof. You either dead or you're not. It ain't no obfuscating. It's not no beating around the bush with this. You catch this stuff, you have a chance of dying. Period. And they still trying to lie about things. I'm gonna continue on because I want y'all to hear some more of this lady. She's crazy.
I want the
you want
city
it to
open.
be like the free market. Everybody gets to go into these restaurants, and if it becomes a center for viral infection, that the markets will decide.
Anderson, nope, we weren't.
That's
broken.
what you said.
We weren't broken when we were closed down, and
You
yet
stand
all
by
of
what
us,
you said.
I think I had it.
You said
believe
let
we
the
need to be
businesses open. Competition will destroy that business if, in fact, they get evidence they have a disease there.
She talking about some damn free market. This woman is talking about free market. When you got 50,000 people dead in 1 month. The flu kills 50,000 in a year. That's 12 months. This thing killed 50,000 people in 1 month. And she's talking about a damn free market. Like I said, there's an agenda going on. And a lot of y'all is not getting it because we forget our history. This country has a deep, dark, and bloody history, especially when it comes down to the minorities being murdered, lynched, and used as guinea pigs in this country. She's about to tell Anderson Cooper that she offered Las Vegas up as an experiment. He can't believe this. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe this woman said this on national TV, people. I couldn't believe she said this. And then when he asked her, you offered Las Vegas, the people of Las Vegas up that voted for you as an experiment, she said, no, I offered, but they turned me down. But now they're opening up Georgia and Atlanta. And you know, Atlanta's like our black capital. You know, it's well known throughout America. Atlanta's a chocolate city. This is crazy. I want y'all to hear this woman out of her own mouth as she tells Anderson Cooper that she offered up Las Vegas as the experimental, and he's still trying to explain to this crazy white lady, ma'am, do you understand what you're saying? She ain't getting it. This is how far gone some of these people are.
Social distancing, that the numbers have been what they are.
How do you know until we have a control group? We offer to be a control group. Anybody who knows anything about statistics knows that, for instance, you have a vaccine.
You're offering
you give the real
the citizens of Las Vegas to be a control group to see if your theory on social distancing works or doesn't work.
Wrong. Absolutely wrong. Don't put words in my mouth.
You just said we'll be a control group.
Excuse me. What I said was, I offered to be a control group, and I was told by our statistician, you can't do that because people from all parts of Southern Nevada come in to work in the city. And I said, oh, that's too bad, because I know when you have a disease, you have a placebo that gets the water and the sugar, and then you get those that actually get the shot. We would love to be that placebo side so you have something to measure against. So all the data until
you want to get the placebo, you don't want to get the actual. Well, no, the group who gets the placebo, by the way, usually gets the short end of the stick.
Well, you don't know. How do you know when you're in part of that group? You are.
Mayor, if
this is crazy, people. This is crazy. Who voted for this woman? Who votes for these people? And see, there's two things going on in this country when it comes down to our vote and things like that. You have a lack of enthusiasm in the black community to make your voice heard through voting. Then you have an overreaction in the white community about voting for con men and con women. And it's off balance. Blacks are not using the power that we have. I'm not going to just say blacks, minorities, period. We're not using the power that we have of the voting booth, and then the whites are overusing it to the point where they get indoctrinated and lied to, and then they go out and vote for these hucksters and these shysters. This woman has no business being mayor of nothing. I wouldn't make her mayor of Looney Tunes, a town on a cartoon somewhere. I wouldn't make her mayor of nothing. And she got almost 80% of the vote in Las Vegas. Crazy. If she got 80% of the vote in Las Vegas, that means there were minorities who voted for her too. Crazy. This is crazy town. I'm gonna continue on because Anderson Cooper, this guy, he keeps trying, man. And I try to make light of this, but at the same time, this is serious, people. He is trying his best to get this woman to understand that if she would have opened up Las Vegas, people are going to flock to Las Vegas from all over the country. They're going to get sick and take it back to their states. And then the virus is going to spread even more. She just is not getting this. She keep telling him, how do you know? You see, this is one of these people, man, they don't believe it because they've been indoctrinated, number one. And number two, they conspiracy theories of the indoctrination got them not believing in nothing. They hard-headed. You even got protesters out in the streets in a lot of different states wanting the economy to open back up. And if you look at those protesters, they white. I've been trying to look at the crowds of the protests all over this country, trying to see the percentage, the ratio of minorities to white people, and you don't see no black people out there or minorities, period, at all. I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna show one last clip of this lady, and I want y'all to look at her expressions on her face.
If casinos reopen, are you going to be inside those casinos every single night, putting your own life on the line?
I have lived in this town for 56 years.
Let me stop it right there. I gotta say one more thing about this before we end this. Anderson Cooper, I love this interview. This is gonna go down in history as one of the greatest interviews, right up there with the R. Kelly interview. He basically asked this woman, you want to open up your city, are you going to be on the casino floors, mixing and mingling with people? She avoided the question. You see, her life is important. That's what she thinks. Your life ain't important as long as this economy keeps moving. Let's continue on. I want y'all to hear what her answer is. He just asked her, are you planning on being out there on the casino floors, mixing and mingling with the people?
Are you going to go to the casinos every night and put your life on the line all the workers you say you were there holding their hands?
So they don't need it. We weren't broken. We tragically have 150 people we lost. Tragic. We have 2.3 million people here.
I haven't heard you say yes, that you would be sitting on those casino floors every night along with the people that you say you are holding their hands with.
What is the purpose of that? First of all, I have a family.
Because it would be putting your money. It would be putting money where your mouth is. Just let the business open.
This woman just told Anderson Cooper she's not going out and mixing mingling on the casino floors because she has a family. The irony of this, people, is crazy. This is nuts. I've never seen nothing like this. He asked her, are you planning on going out there and mixing and mingling? She said, no, I got a family. Like you don't have a family. This is crazy. This is crazy time. I'm finna get to the governor. Because you guys need to hear, oh my God, who votes for these people? Y'all got to get this understood. This whole grandkids of the Confederacy, it's real. These people have an agenda. And that agenda doesn't include you if you're a minority. And they thought they had everything sold up until the coronavirus hit. Then they went into panic mode. Then after they go into panic mode, they figure out that, hey, a few white people are going to die, but 70% of the deaths by the coronavirus are black people. Why the hell have we got the economy closed? See, that's what they that's what their rationality is. In their mind, they saying that, hey, you know, a few whites might die, but, you know, why we got the economy closed? That's what this governor in Texas said. Now, this is not the white lady in Nevada. This is the governor, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick of Texas. Listen to what he said.
There are more important things than living, and that's saving this country for my children and my grandchildren, and saving this country for all of us.
Now, if you heard what he just said, he trying to save this country for his kids and his grandkids by sacrificing you and your family. He just said it. That came out of his own mouth. It didn't come out of mine. I played it for you. Because see, when you have shows like mine, people think you dive into conspiracy theories. That's why I like to study what I'm going to talk about for at least a week before I do my show. Because when I bring it to you, I'm going to bring some real live stuff to you. I'm not going to bring no conspiracy theories about no damn 5G towers. I'm not bringing no garbage like that. This whole plot that they got going on right now, if they can't save this country for themselves, they finna send this whole thing up in smoke. I promise you that's what's finna happen. If they can't save this economy, because what they was doing before the outbreak happened, they was coveting the wealth for the Caucasian race in this country through Donald Trump. Okay, the coronavirus hit. Once the coronavirus hit, everybody went into panic mode. Okay, so when they go into panic mode, they trying to figure out a way out of this. Because the money in the stock is done. People can get their minds off of that. That's over with. It's a waste of your time even thinking about trying to bring that back. Matter of fact, right now we living in a depression. This is not even a recession. This is a depression, people. We have more people out of work right now than we had in the 1930 depression. The numbers just came out. The only reason you don't have people sleeping on the side of the road in tent cities is because the government put a stop to that. What the government did was they talked to all the homeowners, the big conglomerate homeowners, and told them, look, take it easy on kicking people out. We got some plan to take care of that. That is the only reason you don't see people laying on the side of the road with their families in tents. See, that didn't happen in the 1930s. In the 1930s, when the stock market crashed and people lost millions, they didn't care. They just kicked you out. You and your whole family had to get up out of here. That's why you see those old black and white pictures of people laying on the side of the street. What the government did was they stopped that. They had a plan put in place to keep all of these big neighborhoods that got all these prefab homes. They told these people, look, don't kick them out. Lighten up on the rent. We're gonna take care of this through bills. We got stimulus packages. We're gonna take care of this. So they stopped it. But right now, people, we living in a depression right now. So that part of it is done. So what they doing is, if they can't save this country and the wealth of this country for they people, they finna bring everything down. That's why when you see in that stimulus package, they have millions of dollars set aside for big businesses. Because they're gonna rob the piggy bank, give all of these rich white people millions of dollars that they don't even have to pay back. Look it up. I'm not making this up. They finna rob the piggy bank. Then they're gonna give a few $1,000s to the poor people who struggling right now in a stimulus check to keep y'all quiet. But the bulk of this money is going to people who already got millions. These people already living in mansions. They finna get a bailout. So they finna rob the piggy bank. If they can't save this economy from this virus, they finna crash everything down and give it to Joe Biden. Like, here, it's your ball game. And we out. That's what they finna do. They finna crash everything down, rob whatever they can get, and then turn everything over to Joe Biden. And for the next 4 years while he's president, they're going to talk bad about him like he's not doing enough. This is crazy. That's the same thing they did to Obama. George Bush messed the economy up, crashed the economy because of wars that we were fighting that didn't have the money to fight. We wasn't supposed to be over there no way. Crashed the economy, gave it to Obama, and talked about him for 8 years when this man was trying to do his best to bring the economy back. They finna do it. They finna crash everything down and say, forget it. We finna take what we can get, rob the piggy bank. Here, it's on y'all now. Y'all can have it. This is madness. This is madness on a whole nother scale. I'm gonna take one more commercial break, and as promised, I'm gonna talk about herd immunity, and I'm gonna get some more into this this governor, Dan Patrick, because Fox News has turned into state TV, and if y'all don't know what state TV is, all you got to do is look at places like Russia and China, where you got a leader who's a dictator, and whatever he say, he calls up to the news people and tell them, you better agree with it and you better post it just like I posted it. That's what's going on with Fox News. Fox News done turned into a propaganda arm of Donald Trump and the Republican Party. And when I get back, I'm going to show you further what this agenda is that they have planned for America. I want y'all to listen to Dan Patrick. We get back from the Daily Read. We're going to talk about this a little further, people.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
All right, welcome back to the Daily Read. As we were talking about before, this Dan Patrick guy. Now, like I said, he's the lieutenant governor of Texas, and he's talking crazy. Now, the governor of Texas, he's even crazier. Okay, he doesn't care about nothing but them oil fields down there. And I've worked out there in Texas in the oil field, and they don't care about safety or none of that out there. The companies had to take it upon themselves to make safety efforts work in Texas. These people are anti-regulation, anti-government. All they want to do is pump that black oil out the ground and make money. And right now, oil prices are so low that a barrel that the oil comes in costs more than a full barrel of oil right now. This is facts. I follow the stocks. I had stocks before. I'm finna talk some more about this Dan Patrick guy. Because like I say, the theme of today's show is who the hell keep voting for these people.
On this. And I'm thankful that we are now, Tucker, finally beginning to open up Texas and other states because it's been long overdue. You know, they told us, Tucker, to follow the science. Well, what science? I mean, at the end of January, Dr. Fauci, who I have great respect for, said this wasn't a big issue. 3 weeks later, we were going to lose 2 million people. Another few weeks later, it was 1 to 200,000. Now it's under 60,000. And we've had the wrong.
Now, see, let me stop that right there. This is important for y'all, especially if people in the minority communities. This is important for y'all to understand. This man is lying to the white people who watch Fox News. He's telling you that the science is wrong. Basically, he's trying to tell the population that COVID-19 is a myth. Because Dr. Fauci said that millions of people would die. What Dr. Fauci said was, if we don't start locking people down and keeping them in their homes right now, millions will die. So he's lying to these people trying to get the economy back going. Telling you that all of those deaths that they said was going to happen, it never happened. But what he's not telling people is the reason it never happened is because of social distancing and keeping people in their homes. There is a deadly virus burning through this country. He doesn't care about that. And I don't know how many of my listeners ever seen how Texas is set up. Texas has a certain amount of cities, but when you get out to where the big businesses are, the big oil fields, those towns are small, but they have millionaires and billionaires living outside of those towns on ranches. These people can go to their ranch and hide out and make their money while you get out here and die to make the money for them. Get that understood. These people can hide out in their ranches. I pass by them all the time when I'm out there on the road driving trucks. They sit way off in the desert somewhere. Big old beautiful mansion. Big old gate around the front. They got 50 herds of cattle out there. They got oil rigs out there on their property. They making millions off of oil rigs. They don't need for nothing out there. They blocked off from everybody in society. But they want you to get back to work. This man just sat here and lied to all the Fox viewers who watches Fox News. Basically, he telling you that the science was wrong and hundreds of thousands of people didn't die. Just a few thousand people died. What he's not telling you is the reason why millions of people didn't die. I'm going to continue on because I want to get into her
Numbers, the wrong science. And I don't blame them, but let's face reality of where we are. In Texas, we have 29 million people. We've lost 495, and every life is valuable. But 500 people out of 29 million, and we're locked down, and we're crushing the average worker. We're crushing small business. We're crushing the markets. We're crushing this country. And what I said when I was with you that night, there are more important things than living. And that's saving this country for my children and my grandchildren, and saving this country for all of us. And I don't want to die. Nobody wants to die. But man, we gotta take some risk and get back in the game and get this country back up. And
now I wanna get into this. I wanna get into this, people. I wanna get into this, people, because Anna Kasparian, she has she's on TYT, the Young Turks. She has a very important take on this, people. And she couldn't have said it better than me. Okay? If these people want the economy to open up so bad, and they continuously telling you that this isn't real, let them go out and open up this economy first. Let them go out and play around out here. Okay? Let them hold rallies. You sit at home and just wait. Wait it out. Just wait it out. Just sit back. Somebody need to call up Donald Trump and tell him, hey man, you ain't held a rally in a couple of months. Why don't you go to Michigan and get all your supporters and open up a rally somewhere? There's a reason he's not doing that. Listen to what Anna says.
So I always want to respond to these types of arguments with, you should lead by example. So if he genuinely thinks that there are things in life that are more important than life itself, then, I mean, go out there, right? Like, go out there, like, rub up against people, go lick some, like, crosswalk buttons, you know what I mean? Like, show us that it's okay to go out there and, like, literally risk your life just so people can make money.
Now, see, I couldn't have said that better myself. She basically putting you on blast. All of you politicians out there that's telling people they need to go back to work. When you sitting on a couple of million, you can go hide out somewhere. You go out there. You take your ass out there, you go work. Once we see that the politicians are out here mixing and mingling with the communities, then we'll believe. You go out there, hold a rally, get all your supporters to rally behind you. Donald Trump. I'm almost to the end of my show, and as promised, I want to talk about herd immunity. Herd immunity is something that minorities need to understand what it is. And the reason why we minorities need to understand what herd immunity is because the reason why we haven't seen chicken pox, measles, smallpox, things like that over the last 20 or 30 years is because of herd immunity. And I'm not as well versed in speaking as some of my white counterparts when it comes down to podcasting and doing news and things of that nature, but I can talk to people that can be relatable to get you to understand what's going on. Herd immunity is when enough people in the population has antibodies built up to the point where if one person gets sick, he can't give it to somebody else because everybody around him that knows him already has an immunity built up. Let me break that down for you, for my people that like for me to break things down for you. Let me break it down for you like this. Say you know a friend who has an immune system that makes him easily able to catch colds. Okay? But your girlfriend has a cold and it's a bad flu. You done built up antibodies to that flu. So what happens is when you're around your girlfriend and she has that flu, you can't catch it because your body, because of herd immunity, she can't give it to you. Your son, she can't give it to him. Your brother that might see her at a barbecue, she can't give it to him. So when you go visit your friend who has an immune system that has been compromised, you can't pass it on to that person, even though you had contact with your girlfriend who has it. You can't give it to somebody else because it skipped you. That's what herd immunity is. Herd immunity is when enough people in your community already done had the virus and done built up immunity to it. That way, when a certain amount of people get it, they can't spread it worldwide because there's too many people that's immune to it. And that's what herd immunity is. And we need to understand what this is because, like I said, there's an agenda. Their agenda is they're trying to open society back up, even though they know it's going to kill a lot of people, because what's going to happen is once those people die, herd immunity is going to build up in our society to the point where a year goes by, 100,000 die, 200,000 die. 2 years go by, 100,000 die. 3 years go by, 50 or 500 people die, and eventually nobody's going to die from it. But the whole time these people are dying, the economy is still going. I'm hoping I'm explaining this correctly. I'm hoping I'm explaining it. I'm explaining it correctly, but I'm hoping I'm explaining it to you where you can understand it. They have this idea in their head that they're going to build up herd immunity in the population by just letting it burn out. Get outside your house, move around, catch the virus. Even though some of y'all might die, eventually our immune systems are going to get built up to it for the people who stay alive. This is crazy. But it's real. It's what you call herd immunity. When enough people in your population gets antibodies built up, it can't spread anymore. The problem with that whole scientific method is that a lot of people are going to die. They don't care.
In the last few years, the rates of vaccine-preventable illnesses have been on the rise. This isn't just something that's happening in the United States, it's happening throughout the world. Often these outbreaks begin with unvaccinated people. They spread through them too. Outbreaks occur because of a breakdown in herd immunity.
Just heard what the man said. This outbreak, or any outbreak in a country, happens because you got a certain amount of people out here who are going around saying things like, I don't want my child to get vaccinated. They're killing people with those vaccines. Vaccines hurt a small percentage of people in this country. Most of the vaccines are safe for most people to use. But you have a population of people who have been indoctrinated into believing that vaccines are going to be some kind of microchip implanted in you so the government can track you. It's been all kinds of crap going around about vaccines. So the less people go and get vaccinated, the higher the chances are of people to get viral diseases and spread it to other people. I'm going to continue on.
Here in the United States, vaccines are often required in order for kids to attend school. The government does, however, respect the rights of individuals to refuse vaccinations for themselves or their children for religious and even sometimes principled reasons. Sure, they make them jump through hoops in order to get these exemptions, but they do occur. When people don't get vaccinated, known as herd immunity. Once enough people are immunized, then there really can't be an outbreak. If enough people aren't immunized and someone gets sick, the disease can then spread. More people get it, more and more people are exposed, and that's how you get an outbreak. That's bad. But if lots of people are immunized, then even if someone gets sick, the likelihood of anyone else getting sick and spreading the disease is really low.
And see, that's the problem. You got these religious nutcases that have went around for years and decades, hiding their kids off on farms, refusing them to get vaccinated. A lot of them are going to die from coronavirus. Plain and simple. A lot of them are going to die from coronavirus. I hate to put it blunt like that, but you can't pussyfoot around life and death. You done had Amish people and certain religious orders throughout America that live off the beaten track, who don't like to send their kids to public schools. They don't like to get vaccinated. They don't like to do certain things that keeps us safe from viral infections that happen throughout the world. Because they in their mind think it's the devil. They in their mind thinking they trying to implant a microchip in our kids. Because they done heard it on some crackpot program. And what winds up happening is, when a virus like this breaks out in the community, some of them people be the first ones to die and get real sick from it because their bodies don't have the certain amount of white blood cells and vaccines built up in them to fight this stuff off. This is sad. I hope you all learned something from today's show. I'm at the end of the show. And next week we're going to talk about, I have a good friend of mine, and she wants to talk about abuse, domestic abuse. And we're going to talk about domestic abuse, the 3 different types of domestic abuse. And people don't realize that you have men beating women, which is an abuse. That's a domestic abuse. You have adults beating kids. But there's a third abuse in domestic issues where women can also be abusive to men. And we're going to get into 3 different types of domestic abuses next week. And it's going to be a good show, people. I've been working on this one for almost 2 weeks now. And I'll see you next Sunday. This is the Daily Read.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.